Hey everybody, this is Felicia, aka Miss Hot Mess and a Randomness. If you guys don't know, and this is my first time trying to do one of these, I do not know what the hell I'm doing. So I am doing a media share. So basically I'm recording where you guys can hear my voice. I just unfortunately will not be seen on this video because I do not know how to record myself, then transfer over to where then I can show the media, doing it off my phone. So I don't even know how long this video will stay up, or if I'm going to get copyright infringement or what, because I am getting this off of ESPN. But basically, if you guys do not know, I'm a Raiders fan. I am not coming from this because, honestly, the guy is not my favorite person. I just do not think what is happening is ethically correct, and apparently now we have two owners that are in the same boat, where basically we have a portion of our team is owned by both Tom Brady and now also Howie Long. They are both newscasters or sportscasters for different channels, and basically I believe, regardless if this was the same for the Bengals, if this was for the Patriots, if this was for the Giants, for any of the Dolphins, the Cowboys, whatever. Like, if this same situation was happening, and if it is, I just am very unaware because I don't know who every single owner is for all the other teams, and there hasn't been much news about it, to be honest. And again, with the Raiders being my team, I am basically more aware, and so with this is why I bring it up. And again, I'm bringing this up because I do not feel like this is ethical, and I really, really, really think that basically that if you choose to own a sports team, regardless of NFL, basketball, or NBA, basically NHL, the Major League Baseball, MLB, and everything like that, if you choose to own a sports team, and you have any possible conflict of interest where you are, like, basically, where, in this case, if you are a former player and you might possibly unretire again, you should basically never be able to unretire. If even for the team you now currently own, you should not, like, if you become an owner, you cannot unretire. You cannot play in that league in any way, shape, or form. And I think that is why there's a whole nother thing with Tom Brady now that's happening, that next year he is doing flag football in Saudi Arabia. Like, this guy needs to, like, check himself and freaking stay in his own lanes. And apparently, yeah, football is his lane, so to speak. But, like, oh my God, like, just other issues. That's a whole nother video. But so basically, if you are a owner, you cannot be a sportscaster anymore while you own a football team. If you are, like, you cannot have any interaction with so my big issue is being a newscaster, and I'm going to do a little bit of clips, or like play a little bit of this video from ESPN that also talks about it. I'll play it, let you guys hear it, and then I'll come back to it and everything like that. But, and they kind of they agree and everything like that it is an unfair advantage, because as a or a sportscaster, you get access to more information than your average Joe, or like I do and everything like that. Like, I get information about the games and stuff like that through social media, through news, from the sportscasters, from the teams and everything like that. Like, they actually get to go watch the practices. They get to go into the locker rooms. They get to talk to the coach. They get to talk to all of the coaches and the teams and everything like that. And then the fact is that, like, they also talk about it, how it makes the players uncomfortable because of the information that now they get to hear. But also, like, if you're an owner, maybe you shouldn't be in with the coaches. Either take a coach's role or be an owner. Like, the owners need to go hang out on the sidelines and, like, have voices during, like, basically, like, the training sessions during the week and everything. But, like, let the teams that are being paid for, the coaches of defense, the coaches of the quarterbacks, like, all that, like, let them do their jobs. Let them do their jobs. Stop trying to steal the freaking show. So I'm now gonna play, because again, like, also Howie Long is a sportscaster. I do not think that if you are choosing to be a whatever percentage owner in a team, you have the right, or like it. And supposedly the NFL is not doing much about it, and it's like, what like, like. So yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit of this and get you guys' takes and go from there. So hold on.
A lot of conversation about Brady in the booth. Let's start there. Let me give you the background in case you haven't heard it. The Raiders offensive coordinator Chip Kelly told ESPN that he speaks with Brady 2 to 3 times a week, going through film and the game plan for the next game. Pete Carroll was asked about that after the game. Here's what he said.
That's not accurate. We have conversations. I talk to Tom. Chip talks to Tom regularly. I mean, we have a tremendous asset, and so and we all get along well, and we respect each other, and so we just talk, about life and football and whatever it comes, and he has great insight. So we're lucky to have him as an owner.
Social media loses its collective mind, conflict of interest. We all understand how these conversations go. What can you tell us, Dan, about what the rules are?
Well, I mean, first of all, like, if he's part owner of the team, like,
right.
If he wants to talk to the coaches, like that it was made clear when he bought whatever percentage of the team, 10% of the team, that he was going to be involved in the operations of the team. So that's not a surprise. The issue, of course, that people are raising is he's also the lead, broadcaster on Fox's Sunday games.
Right.
And in that capacity, he gets to go to production meetings, which are, behind the scenes, off the record conversations with coaches and players ahead of the game to help the broadcast crew know what's going on during the game. And he gets to go to practices. Now, the league put some rules in last year that because of his association with the Raiders, he couldn't do a normal schedule that a broadcaster would do. But even this year, they've relaxed some of those rules. So it doesn't feel like, even though there are people around the league that complain about this, it doesn't feel like the league's interested in doing anything about it, resolving that conflict of interest issue. He's also way overdressed for the coaches. Like, that's the other thing, right? Like, he looks out of place up there.
My understanding is that he attends those meetings with the coaches during the week virtually, meaning he's not actually in the building, and he doesn't attend the practices. So there are some rules that remain in place for him. His first year, he wasn't allowed to speak to them at all. So there's that. Let's dive into whether this really is a thing or not. Like, we live in a world now where we make everything into such a big deal. You do games every single week. How much information would you say you get from those conversations that if you wanted to be clear, you never would do this, but if you wanted to.
Okay, so before we go there and everything like that, they're claiming that he does remote and everything like that, but he still has the access, still the ability. And then they even mention the fact that basically, like, the NFL is not following in the rules that much. They're being a little bit more laxed about it. And it's like, I need to verify if, like, Roger Goodell is actually still the in charge of NFL and everything like that, if the commissioner and everything like that, because of all people, like, did Brady pay off Goodell? Like, this is my thoughts, my speculations. Like, it's like, again, like, yeah, I'm a Raiders fan. I just don't ethically think like this is just right. And again, if it wasn't the Raiders and it was like the Chargers or the 49ers or like the Cowboys or whoever, like, and I found out like the situation was happening, I just don't think it's right. Like, I just don't believe that it like, if you're going to become an owner, like, back off the other job, like, basically, like, type thing, like, start doing those Vita commercials or like this, like commercials for whatever, like, and everything. Do some promotions that way, but I just don't agree with it. But at the same time, so, like, yeah, like, they're saying that basically he can take part in production meetings, but has to be remote. It doesn't matter, like, even regardless of remote, someone lets information in about, like, oh, this player is weak to this player, and I know there's the injury report and stuff like that, but, like, basically being like, so and so's not playing that well, like, we're gonna put him on the sideline. Now you're like, oh, like, let's, like, it changes a whole bunch of things, and I just do not agree with it. And I'm probably gonna repeat myself so many times in this, but, like, again, like, clearing this. What are your thoughts? Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, are you on pro? If you are a sportscaster, you can also own part and, like, have all the rights and, like, or even if they're limited and stuff like that. Or do you think you should be disassociated and, like, basically, like, if you are a owner of a team, you cannot hold a sportscaster position. Like, go be a sportscaster on golf or whatever, but not for football. Not for football. Like, basically, get out, like, no association. Like, but Brady is Brady. Brady will try to do whatever he wants. And again, I'm not a fan of Brady. Like, I don't care if he's an owner of my team, and I don't care if I live in Massachusetts. Like, I've just never been a fan of Brady. Now, you step aside and you ask me, like, about Robert Kraft and basically, like, what I think of him as a owner of a professional football team who's done really well. Like, when it comes to or now the Vegas Raiders, but once upon the Oakland Raiders. Basically, I wish Al Davis and Mark Davis took a key out of Robert Kraft's book and freaking had used some of their money and slowly bought in the property around the Coliseum and then revented the Coliseum. Didn't rely on Oakland to provide the money for them, and we could have stayed in Oakland and everything like that. Like, there was just all these, like, things that what we could have, should have, and would have done. And, like, I will say, like, Robert Kraft has one of the best business plans on when it comes to basically the stadium, the area, the revenue, and bringing it back in. I will say that. So I'm not knocking that. What I am knocking is I'm not a Tom Brady fan in the whole gambit. Yeah, he might have played well as a quarterback. But then again, it's not just the Tom Brady show. It's a whole team. How many people can win a Super Bowl with one person? None. No team can. Now, if you talk about how him and the team of the Patriots, every time they won a Super Bowl, played, fabulous. It was a team effort. So, like, that's the thing. I just needed to clarify that. Like, it is what it is. But at the same time, like, again, this is just the fact of an ethical position. I do not believe whoever you are, if you are an owner of any sports team, you should be a sportscaster for that same sport. Again, if he wants to go be a sportscaster for Fox, for basketball, for golf, for swimming, the Olympics and everything like that, go right ahead. Go right ahead. But when it comes to NFL coverage, not allowed. Straight out, should not be allowed. And now we're going to go back to watching some more. This is going to be a long video. So again,
use them for the benefit of another team. How much of it could you actually?
It's such a tough question because it's so different depending upon the coach. But in those meetings, you are fully discussing what the team is going on that week, specific to a single game. So you may get into what players are available for the game that given Sunday. You may get into a little bit of what your philosophy is going into that game. So you do get a lot of information that if you went out and just spread it out, it would be very difficult for those teams. That's why those meetings are very different than when a head coach stands up at a podium and answers questions from a reporter. That is a more relaxed setting that you can let your guard down some. But at the same time, most head coaches, when they walk into that meeting, they still understand you're a part of the media, and they're not going to tell you their entire game.
I totally, and we're not saying Brady would do this either, right?
Yes.
We're not
Right.
trying to accuse you. This a bad look. And it's awkward for coaches, and it's not just the coaches. J-Mac, they talk to players, and players aren't always as guarded, especially with other players. Like, you're sitting around talking ball. It's all of those things, and it's okay. It's a little bit okay now because the Raiders aren't very good yet, right? Pete Carroll's just getting there. They're trying to get it. Let's say they start leading the AFC West, and they start becoming the number one, and he's calling their games. It just becomes very sticky, in my opinion, the way it looks. And I'm not saying Brady's doing anything wrong.
No.
He's following the rules, but and they have the same tailor. Y'all both look sharp today. But it's just that thing for me.
Let me give a hard, concrete example of this. Next week, this coming week, Tom Brady is scheduled to do the game between the Cowboys and the Bears.
Right.
The following week, the Bears play the Raiders.
Yeah.
So he is, in theory, going to be talking to the Bears coaches this week, asking whatever it is he asks. They'll tell him whatever it is they tell him. And then the following week, they're playing the team of which he is the part owner. That's why people, I think, are making a big deal of this.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters whether there's, like, I understand what J-Mac was saying, that there's not a lot of information and coaches are guarded, but sometimes the players aren't as guarded. I don't think it matters whether they're guarded or not. The thing is, you do not want the perception, the opportunity for any impropriety. And if you are going to take this risk, I would think that you would take this risk because the benefit was so great. In that case, it doesn't seem to, like, line up necessarily that he's either such a great owner that he can't walk away from that, or such a great broadcaster that he has to also be an owner, or they just let him show up and talk and do the games. I would be upset or uncomfortable if I were a player on it.
I think that's the key point. You went to journalism school.
Yeah.
They taught about.
So yeah, like that's the thing is like basically why are you making you're making the players uncomfortable, you're putting them on edge. Now they're like, we want the players in general, regardless of what team you play for, you want them to be relaxed. We want them to be able to play and not like basically like they're already with so many possible health situations that can happen. We don't need to be adding fuel to the fire of making them unhealthy. Then also to make the fact is that like how they brought up that the Bears and everything like that are going to be playing the Raiders in a couple weeks and everything like that, and like it makes it look like fucking like. I'm trying not to make it a personal attack on Brady, but like unfortunately, it's kind of where it brings it back to it. Brady has so many freaking controversies in the NFL, basically Deflategate, the whole like freaking thing with that, and like there's all these little things, and now basically like doing this, it makes it seem like there's an unfavored advantage by you're going to talk to a team that maybe is going to be playing in a couple of weeks, regardless of with the Bears. It's like he's going to do the coverage for the Bears next week, and then it's the week after it's the Raiders. But at the same time, like say if he does the game next week for the Bears and everything like that, and it was 3 weeks out that the Bears and the Raiders were playing and everything like that, you still have some information about like their the way that they play and stuff and through the game, and I'm not saying Brady is dumb in any fucking way, excuse my language, dumb in any way. Actually, he's pretty damn smart in the right aptitude and everything like that like I could see him storing the information and then trying to freaking I just that's me taking it outside of it, like being like a Raiders fan and like, oh, I should support. No, I just do not agree with this in any shape. So, okay, let's keep watching some of this stuff.
Avoid the appearance of impropriety.
Right.
Even if you are fundamentally ethical, if someone on the outside can look and say, well, that doesn't make sense, he shouldn't be doing that in that role and also that role, that offers the possibility for an abuse of one or the other. So I would I'm surprised, honestly, that the NFL hasn't been more concerned about this. You do hear it again from other teams, from coaches, other teams. Like, is this all right? It does not seem like something anybody wants to actually do.
Can I just tell you how paranoid coaches are? So my first year I retired. I worked for ESPN and I worked for the Colts for Mr. Irsay. When I would go back to the building, the coaches, which was Pagano and Grigson, right, and they didn't know me. I knew Bruce Arians, but I was just getting to know all those guys. I couldn't go to the back portion of the building, right, because, Peyton's still playing. All my buddies are still playing, and that's how paranoid coaches and staffs are. So that to your point, any slight chance of anything passing just gets very uncomfortable in those settings.
Quickly on that, I wonder down the line, you just talked about the fact that the Bears now are in the crosshairs of that. Do they start to say, you know what, like I don't want to make Caleb Williams available for your broadcast team to talk. My head coach, he's not going to go talk Ben Johnson. I wonder, does that come up when now teams are seeing that during a game?
We'll have to wait and see. It's not what we anticipated talking.
And that's the thing is like, so because all of these teams have the right to say no to a broadcast, it's when you have like ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, whatever's like a YouTuber who's up there like doing press and stuff like that, you have the opportunity to have these people do press and interviews with the coaches and the players and things like that to bring more light to the game, and then basically you have more viewers and basically brings you more revenue and stuff like that. But at the same time, you might have not only coaches, teams, or even the players themselves that are like, nope, I'm gonna pass. I'll take a penalty. Like the teams could be like, well, we still want you to do a broadcast, like with so and so or whoever and everything. And they're like, no, we don't feel comfortable with that. Okay, you have a penalty of 500 or whatever the penalty is, because like they just have random penalties for things in the NFL. But also teams might have them for code of conduct and stuff like that. Do not know all the ins and outs and everything like that. I just know vague information. So don't come at me being like, this is this, this is that. I'm like, listen, I just know vague information about that. So I could be a little wrong on that information. But so like say, and I don't know who the Bears quarterback is and everything like that. He might have just said the name, but I really don't know. But like, so when it comes to that interview next week, the quarterback for the Bears could be like, not doing any interviews. The coach could be the same thing, like not doing any interviews with Brady. With Tom Brady, we're not. We can do it with Fox Sports, with someone else. And then there's the problem, though, is that they could even say we're not doing with Fox Sports, because the thing is that even though Tom Brady might not interview, he has access to all the other sportscasters' information since he works for Fox Sports. And then they might be like, oh, that's like basically like he could get information and then bring it back. Like there's just, and again, this might not be a Brady situation where Brady's going to do this, but it's the premise and the point of like, if a person is in this role as an owner of a team and also holds a job as a sportscaster, they can do it. And again, like I don't agree with Howie Long doing like being in both roles. If Howie Long is giving up his sportscasting role, then cool. Like and I'm not saying like I don't want Howie Long being part of the team, as in the ownership and everything, that he has history with the Raiders and stuff like that. Like that I was so more on board of than Brady jumping ship and trying to own the Raiders. And I feel like it's more of an ego check, being like, ha ha ha, like basically I kicked your guys' butt. I did all the shady shit when I played and everything like that to help you guys lose, but at the same time, now I get to control you guys and I get to be like, again, that is, I'm really trying to be a little biased, but you can, the more you watch this video, you can tell how much I love Tom Brady. Not. So let's go back to watching more of this.
Talking about this morning, but it clearly is the thing that everyone on social media was grasping onto. It was a thriller right down to the finish. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, C.J. Stroud and the Texans in the early spot on Monday Night Football. First quarter, Texans drive right down the.
Okay, so I think that they're actually done talking about them, and then they're going into more. But yeah. So that is. What are you guys' thought? Like basically, you can see like, is there conflict? If interest in Tom Brady's dual role, there's going to be a lot of videos about this stuff, but yeah, like I'm just not feeling it. So I'm kind of curious. What are your thoughts about this? Okay, guys.